Why do you draw?
Oh, hi. My name is Tortie, and I'm lost. I was just walking through a hallway, and now I'm in some kind of void without any consistent screen direction. Plus, it's really bright, and the lack of visual landmarks or points of interest is really messing with my eyes. Wait, why am I talking to myself? Where am I? Who am I sharing my thoughts to? Is there anyone else here? Please, I need someone to tell me what's going on. I'm so alone.
You're not alone. You're just stuck in your head.
Are you me?
From the past.
What is even going on? In my head? Why am I having such a hard time remembering?
Maybe it would help to retrace your memory out loud.
With you?
With them.
It's coming back to me now.
Trust the process. Remember, you chose this for yourself.
What do you mean? Fine. I can't believe I'm doing this again. Well, I remember 10 years ago, I was in middle school when I started this YouTube channel, under a different, much stupider pen name, Adini Tortellini, which was suggested to me by my friend who had another friend by the same name. I had no shame, so I stole it. I had been drawing for my entire life. As a kid, it was the perfect hobby for me, a no-life nerd, and so I dedicated every second of my day to doodling something. I did a lot of copying back then, which was understandable because, to be honest, at that age I didn't have much of a life to draw inspiration from. I drew what I knew, and what I knew was watching cartoons, which happened to be my second favorite hobby for nerds. The moment I discovered the YouTube animation community was the first time in my life that I realized cartoons were made by people, and that with a few essentials I could create my own. A laptop, a Wacom Intuos drawing tablet, Adobe Flash, and a Nintendo Wii U karaoke microphone accessory.
Hello everybody, my name is Aiden, and I like to draw.
That's what that was. That's why it sounded like that. The laptop's built-in microphone would have probably sounded way better, but it still wouldn't have fixed the even bigger issue of literally everything.
I've been making animations for a while now, but I didn't have the courage to actually post them.
I kept making Adini Tortellini videos for a long time, and during that phase of my life, I was able to find a voice in a community within an emerging genre of online animation. But even then, I'll admit the voice wasn't entirely my own. I mean, what in the Jaden animations even is this character design? Also, the fact that I used to practically share her name? Did a version of me travel back in time to my birth to give me that name and set me on this path?
I think we should get back on topic.
What, feeling called out? Of course, I'm grateful for this period of my life, which brought me so many exciting opportunities and an unimaginable amount of support. But it was built upon a foundation that wasn't mine. And I realized I was trying to be something I wasn't. Maybe that's why I stopped feeling proud of my work. Over time, it became harder and harder to find a reason to keep going, and then faced with the global health crisis and high school graduation, I had an even greater revelation. My dissatisfaction extended even farther. My body, my voice, my entire identity that I spent my entire life molding did not feel truly mine. I think I may have been too young and vulnerable to handle having such a large audience. I mean, even now my heart feels like it's thumping out of my chest just thinking about sharing all of this. So why am I even back here, of all places? Wasn't I finished? What happened? I think at the end of high school, I knew myself even less than I did when I entered. I was early in my transition and felt deeply insecure, but I still wanted to draw. During these hard times, I actually escaped into my art even more. My drawings were the only thing I felt proud of, so I thought if I went to art school, I could become even better. But I also knew in the back of my mind that becoming a full-time artist would be a difficult path. I didn't even know if art school would be worth it. And it seems a lot of people have this same question because every so often I get recommended a new YouTube video explaining why X art school is a passion and money-sucking black hole full of inequality and hubris. But my parents wanted me to go to college, so they packed my entire life into boxes and shipped me to the farthest point away from them they could manage within my country, all the way to New York. Now, is art school really a passion and money-sucking black hole full of inequality and hubris? Maybe. But the same can be said about New York, am I right, ladies and gentlemen? Yet, my college experience turned out to be the opposite of what I expected of higher education. I kind of thought I'd have 4 years of freedom without responsibility in the sexiest time of my life. In reality, I devoted 4 years to sitting at a desk making cartoons in a windowless room with no air circulation that smelled like the BO of people who make cartoons. It was likely the least sexiest thing someone in their 20s could be doing. The only naked bodies I saw for my first year were the models in my figure drawing class. It wasn't sexy in the slightest. I was just tired. One of the first in-class assignments I received was the 30-second gesture drawing. This was the first time in my life that my skills were put up to the test like this in a group. But thinking that it was a competition was my first mistake. All I could manage in those 30 seconds was a circle to represent the face. When we had a break, I decided to peek over my classmate's shoulder for the comfort of a mutual struggle, only I found a sketch that masterfully captured not only the form, but all of the weight and balance in the pose, drawn in the same amount of time that I had. Leading up to this moment, I had tied my entire identity to my art. I didn't like myself, but at least I could draw, I thought. So when my body failed to draw, what was left? Starting your life anew is a difficult thing to do. That rhymed and I didn't mean it to. Fuck! My point is, 4 years ago, I didn't know who I was or what I had to offer to the world. That first day in art school broke me a little, but it made me realize how fragile my ego was. To non-artists, this might sound completely insane. But you know what? Maybe it is insane. Much like trauma, art brings people together, and I do not know anyone more traumatized than art students. There's something wrong in their heads, all of them. And I feel comfortable saying that because they would probably agree with me. Only someone deeply unwell would put their mental and physical health on the line and pin their entire self-worth on a single project. And yet, artists do it all the time. I will be the first to admit that this is not healthy, but it can be hard not to fall into this kind of abusive relationship with art. But that doesn't mean the pursuit of art itself is harmful. Art is still an immensely valuable means of self-discovery and communication, much like speech, literature, or music. I only allow animation to drive me a little insane because it's through that process that I uncover something new about myself. The thing I learned to love about college is that I got to figure shit out with a bunch of people who knew just as little as I did. What really mattered wasn't the technical stuff. It was experiencing the world with people I love and discovering ourselves together that really made an impact on my work, and in turn, myself. I guess, instead of letting drawing define my life, I let my life define my drawing. No, I did not go to college to spend my entire time rotting at a desk alone. But I'm grateful that I went to college to spend my entire time rotting at a desk with my friends. After figure drawing class, I would retreat to my dormitory across the street. In the winter of my first year, I was excited when I got to watch snowfall, a sight I wasn't used to back home. The sidewalks would become coated in a soft layer of lightly dusted pillows of snow, like a fresh canvas laid across the entire walkway. In the city, fallen snow is only clean for a short while before it becomes trodden down and dirty. Even knowing that it may soon be stomped, I felt compelled to leave a mark. Art school was hard. Some days I even wanted to quit. But the moment I returned to my dorm, I would open my sketchpad to a fresh page and start drawing again. The snow would continue to fall as my work carried me into the night. And that's how I made it through college. Now that I've graduated, I'm back in a similar place that I was at before I left. Literally too. But I guess that's why I chose to come back. Even if it means being vulnerable or possibly missing the mark, I owe it to myself to give it another shot. so that I can try to leave my mark in the world. At least this time, I get the satisfaction of doing it my way. Man, going my own way seems really lonely though. Is it too late to change my mind?
I want to know how your mind digests knows. I wish I knew what it's like to be in your shoes. I wish I knew, I wish I knew, I wish I knew.